Alright, so my whole point here is, why even do that craziness? I don't need to. What is 2 minus 4? Negative 2 cubed. Become a 3. Alright. I lose a little bit, tired. Now what do? Exponents. 6 minus 3 plus, what's negative 2 cubed? Negative 8. Is anybody wondering why I haven't made that 28? You probably shouldn't confess to that, because I would never do that. It's not. I'm dividing this by 4, and then I'm multiplying. I do that part as it comes, right? This is all, this chunk here is multiplication division. All of it's going to come before any of this addition subtraction business, right? And here I just do this as it comes. They're mining now. So 6 minus 3. What's negative 8 divided by 4? And now what do? Oh, okay. So I could keep the plus sign there, but what's negative 8 divided by 4? Negative 2, right? What's plus a negative? Negative. Minus. Yeah. So I just kind of made that a minus, just to be more direct. Yeah. So I made this into a single sign. I made it into a negative sign. Because it's no longer positive, is it? It's now negative. And that's the thing that students have a lot of trouble with. I don't blame you. A negative sign and a minus sign are truly the same thing. And that's just kind of weird to people. Yes? Well, when I add a negative, that's the same thing as subtracting. If I added debt to you, am I not taking away your money? Right? So adding a negative is the same as subtracting. They're the same thing. So now I do 2 times 7, 6 minus 3 minus 14 plus 2 plus 2. Now I can finally do all of that, right? They're all on the same level, so I just do it as it comes. What's 3 minus 14? Negative 11 plus 2? Negative 9. And what's minus a negative? Plus. Is that cool? Minus is minus plus, so 6 plus 9 plus 2?
17.
6 plus 9 plus 2, 17. I like it. There were a lot of steps. But every time I did something, it was easy. 2 minus 4, come on. Negative 2 cubed. Okay, you can write it down if you need to, but that's not bad. Negative 8 divided by 4. I mean, every time I do something, it's an easy thing I'm doing. You guys just kind of run out of steam a little bit. You're like, I already wrote a lot of shit, man. I'm not even done. Not too bad. Keep going. I'm so sympathetic. It's too bad. Keep going. Yes?
Explain to me how do you know, because you were just saying, like, how do you know if you flip the sign? You know, like from pluses to minuses, whatever.
So what's a positive times a negative? So what, you ready? Watch this. That's true. What I've written up there is totally true, right? It's true. No matter where I see that, it's true. And you're all like, yes. So if I had 7 plus negative 6, that's 7 minus 6, because plus times negative is minus. I mean, that's it. That's it. There's nothing else. So how do you guys feel about that? Math, we don't like writing too many symbols. If I add negative, I'm making it go down. It's the same thing as subtracting.
So I get confused with minus.
Okay, that's the next one. What's negative times negative? Positive. True? True. Just simply true.
Like if you were negative $20.
All right. You ready? I figured out a physical example for this. Let's say you've got $8 in your bank account, but the bank says you owe them $20, right? So you're like in the hole $12. Does that make sense? So what if they forgive that debt? So what's forgiving debt mean? I'm going to erase that debt. Shouldn't the amount of money I have go up? So that's the best physical example I can kind of think of. Subtracting a negative is taking away negative. It's forgiving debt, I think, is the best example I can come up with. And that's why it becomes plus. If you forgive some of my debt, I have more money to work with than I did. No, listen. Even if I owe $5,000 and somebody forgives $4,000 of that, I know I still owe $1,000, but am I not in a better place than I was? I've gone up. So subtracting a negative, forgiving a debt should make the amount of money you have increase. I don't care if it's still negative. I understand that completely. I've lived that reality. But it's more than you had before because it's less that you owe, right? I mean, does that make sense? Okay, that's a physical way to think about it. But the math is just negative times negative is positive. So if I had 7 minus negative 2, that is 7 plus 2 because that is that. I mean, we know it's that. We know it.
But what about multiplication and division? Because it's different, right?
Yes. And again, the reason it's different, well, right there we use multiplication. Negative times negative is positive. That's multiplication, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I can like it. So let me make sure, real quick about adding, subtracting. If I had this, what's that? Negative 10. And what was the shortcut I said? If they're the same sign, you add them. I don't know if I even said this to you guys because it was sort of a review, but if they're the same sign, you add them, but you put the sign back on. And the reason that makes sense is I owe you $7 and I owe you $3. I'm not suddenly $10. I don't have a $10 bill just poof appears in my pocket. No, I owe 10 freaking bucks total, right? So if I'm already negative and I go down further, of course I'm going to end up more negative. Those two negatives can't kill each other. They add on each other, right?
So if you write a check for $7
and you wrote another check for $3,
you write another check for $3. So then
now you're in the whole 10, yeah, exactly. Or another way is whatever you got is going to go down by 10 once they cash those checks. I like it. Now what's negative 7 times negative 3? Positive 21, because a negative means opposite, right? Negative means opposite. So opposite 7 with another opposite 3 becomes opposite 10. I mean, that's one way to look at it. I wouldn't look at it like that, but that is one way you can look at it. But here, if I say the opposite of, it's gone. All right, turn around. Now turn around again. All right, it's all gone. Appreciate your directness. What is 4 times negative 1? Negative 4. I turn around. That's why I like that. A negative means turn around, because on the number line is exactly what you do. And to be honest, you guys don't even know how true this is. Unfortunately, you're on a track where you're never going to talk directly about complex numbers. Some of you guys, does anybody know about complex numbers? You're all like, I'm going to say I do, because I don't want you to say any more about that shit. That sounds hard. But really, honestly, nobody has ever heard of complex numbers? Square rooted negative 1 stuff? A little bit, yes? Probably alright. And you guys are like, you can cry, you want to, I don't care. I don't want to talk about that. Anyway, I'm sorry. But that comes into play here. It makes it so simple, but you don't even have to worry about it, so you're okay. Multiplication by negative is turning around. It makes it go on the other side. So, negative times 4 is negative 4. Negative times negative 4. What does that mean? It means start at 4, turn around, and then turn around again. That's what that means. So then where do you end up? If I start at 4 and I turn around and I turn around again, where do I end up? 4. So negative times a negative cancels each other out because it's just the same as not turning at all. Like, turn around again.
So then it becomes a rule.
I did it real fast. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to end up facing you. Yes?
So now it's not a rule. It's not I borrowed 3 days. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I borrowed $7 from you. And I never paid you back. I can come back Thursday and say I paid you.
Explain to me. I don't understand what you're saying. Over the course of 3 days, I don't know if this is what you're
3
thinking.
days in a row, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Each day you borrowed $7. And what's 3? No. What's 3 times negative 7? What's 3 times negative 7? Negative 21. So you owe me $21. The math still matches the physical reality. Of course it does. You with me? I really don't know if you're just trying to make a joke or if that's related to something you don't understand. Please tell me. Are you with me? That models your example, right?
Oh no, so when it was the other way, it did, because when it was 7, then it's 7 times 3.
I think she's thinking like if it was like an exponent, because
No,
it's like
I mean,
7.
Oh yeah, no.
seconds.
I think you're thinking like the 3 would be negative also, but that's like negative days. Now I'm a time traveler. So if you allow me to time travel, then yes, you're right. Well, you allow me to talk about time travel, so I'm happy about that. But this is positive 3 days, and then each of those 3 days you borrow $7. So you do owe me $21. So don't try to do that to a math teacher. You ain't gonna get us with that. Okay. So any more questions related to that? How would you do this then? I didn't talk about this other rule. So when they're the same sign, you add them, put the sign back on. When they're opposite signs, you subtract them. What's 89 minus 17? This is 72, and then you put the sign of the larger one back on. Kind of makes sense. Now think about it. If I'm 89 feet down and I climb up 17 feet, well now I'm 72 feet down. I've erased this much of my downness. Just to make it a word. I've erased 17 of how far down I was. That's why this makes sense. So they're opposite signs. You subtract and put the sign of the bigger one on, because that's the one there's going to be some left of. Maybe. All right. So anything else about that kind of thing? Multiplying, adding, subtracting, dividing negatives and sign numbers and stuff. Okay. Where did we go to next? Did I get to your question? 6. Oh yeah. Okay. Let me put this up here. I kind of asked. I think I would normally put question A as the last question, and I'll show you why. But I just wasn't thinking about it when I was putting my questions down there.
Still on. Can you do 7 later, please?
No. No, I figured it, yeah. I don't want to talk to you guys about football, so I don't know. Well, can we use this filler while we wait? Did you guys see a movie recently? Oh, there. Alright, so you guys all have this in front of you, so I'm not going to worry too much about it if you can't see this, but I just want to point to some things. So let's do part C first, really. That'll make this a little bit easier. Oh, sure. Anybody else need a copy of the practice test? I have a whole one more left. So after we look at this question, I think I'll give you guys the answer key, so I don't forget. So part C, let's do that one first. And that's actually the way I would order this. If you've tried this, you might understand why I'm doing this. How many people were sampled? How many people did I talk to make this? What do these numbers stand for? Weeks. Okay, don't be adding those numbers up. Then you tell me like some weird weeks thing. What do these numbers stand for? Those are people. That's the frequency. It's the number of data points. In this case, I'm getting my data from people. So that's the number of people. Now, how tall is this bar? You got to be careful.
11.
11. That's 11. So that's 17 so far. 19. 20. There's 20 people. So part C is 20 people. Let me stop there for a second. Can you guys see how I got that? This always tells you the number of data points. And if you're talking to people to get answers, the number of people is this. The class width. Yeah, where are my classes on this thing? They're the rectangles. So how wide is each one? 20. That's all. So my width is 20. If I would have made my width smaller, I would have had more rectangles here. You guys see that connection? If I make it bigger, then I would have less rectangles because I only have to go up to here. Okay, so if you take statistics, you're going to get a little deeper into the math behind that. How do you figure out how wide it has to be if you want to use 7 classes? All right, that's some math there. Not very intense math, but oh well. So now part A, since we know there's 20 people, part A should be easy. For how many people, what percentage does it last them less than 20 weeks? But how many people does it last less than 20 weeks? 11 out of how many total people? 20. So what's 11 divided by 20? Make it into a percentage. You're done. So it's just, this is one way to give you counts of people. So I can ask you all kinds of questions, percentages, counts, whatever, because you just got to look and count. You just got to look at this and count the right place. That's all. It's just a way to show you counts. I don't know if this is the appropriate background music for this, but at least not shouting in French. Is that cool for that problem? I mean, I'm going to give you a problem.
I didn't get it. How do you count people? I mean, 11 people, right?
All right, there's 11 people in this, that it lasts for 0 to 20 weeks. Now, how many does it last 20 to 40? How many does it last 20 to 40 weeks? 6. How many do we have so far? 11 plus 6, 17. How many more people are here? 2 more, so 17 and 2 is 19. How many people are here? What? 19 and 1 is 20.
Where did you get 17 from?
All right, help me out. How tall
I'm sorry,
is this bar?
I didn't get it.
That's all right. How many people in this bar? You told me already.
11.
All right. How many people in this bar do the exact same thing? How many people in this bar?
6.
6. All right. How many people so far?
17.
11. All right. See. All right. And then you add the 2 and you add the 1.
Add them all.
Totally. Because how did I make this picture? I took a certain group of people and I split them up. So how do I figure out how many people I had total? I add them all back together to see how many people total. Nobody, could anybody be in this bar and that bar? That is a very weird person. Yeah, my shampoo, it ran out, but then somehow it kept going. It's empty, but then shampoo would just appear out of. No, you're in one bar, right? So I can just add them and know that I'm not double counting anybody. Right? So it's just adding them back up. I break them up, let me add them back together. Yeah.
Is there a reason it's not touching the 0 line? Or it's just like...
Oh, it's just the way the picture was made. I don't know. They went a little below the x-axis here for some reason.
Okay.
It should be like right on top.
I thought
right.
it means something like...
No. It's just the way. I just grabbed this off of somewhere. It was better than me making one and you not being able to read it. And I don't know why they did that, to be honest. Good point, though. Cool. So it's not a trick. Those aren't like imaginary people down there. Count me. No, excuse me. Okay. Let me give you guys this here, and then we'll talk about number 7. Real quick point about this. Do not do this. Do not do this. Yep. Oh, yeah. Right? I mean, that didn't do crap for you. If you didn't try the practice test at all, and you're not going to try it, don't look at this. Don't look at it at all. Trust me on it. It's just going to build false confidence or something like, oh, I would have done that. Yeah, I would. How do you know you would have done it? So the right way to do this is to not even look at this. Try the practice test out. Check your answers. Anything you had trouble with, go back to that section, review it. Or go get some help, come see me, go see a tutor, something, right? That's the correct way to use this. You don't have to do this at all. If you do all the homework, get help with what doesn't make sense, you should actually be just fine on the test if you understand all the concepts in the homework. This is just to show you how I set up my test normally. It's going to be basically like this. Different problems. Don't get too excited. Right? Okay. And no, you can't use this on the actual test. I love that. I walk around the room and somebody just got this in between. You didn't say I couldn't use it. Oh, God. No, you can't use it. So, let me talk about number 7 real quick. How do the sample and the population, oh shit. Let's start here. Well, I'll start right there. How do the sample and the population relate to each other? How do they relate? Well, what is the population?
The entire group you're trying to say something.
The entire group I'm trying to say. If I wanted to say something about the percentage of people in Wisconsin that eat cheese, my population would be everybody in Wisconsin. What's my sample?
People you actually talk to.
The people I actually talk to. So in that case, it might be 87 randomly selected Wisconsinites. Is that how you say it? Wisconsinite? Anybody from Wisconsin? No? Well, oh, you are? Yeah. Do you say Wisconsinite? All right, we'll just make it sounds like Samsonite. But so, right, you guys with me? So the sample has to be a group that you picked from the population. Does that make sense? I mean, that's the whole idea. Sample is what I actually worked with because I don't have time to talk to everybody in the whole population. So in this first problem, you can see the sample just staring you in the face. So you can certainly start there. I think I did on the answer key. What's the sample in part A? What am I actually working with? What did I actually gather to look at? Be more specific. 322 telephones. That's my sample. Now, where did I choose those from? Now, tell me a larger now. And sometimes you can just replace the number with the word all. Be a little more specific. The sample is 322 telephones. Where did I get them from? Don't say the factory. I mean, what group did I pick them from? Telephones. All telephones at the factory. There. Do you see how that works? So very often you can pick this sample easily. Then you think, where did I get that sample from? Well, it was 322 telephones from the phone factory, so the population must have been all the phones at the phone factory. So very often it's very related to just replace the number with the word all. You can almost get away with doing that. You just got to be careful, be more specific. Don't say all telephones, because you're not going to come in my house and steal my phone. Right? It's not all telephones. It's all telephones at the phone factory. Right? I like that phone factory somewhere. Phone. This one's a little bit more evil. I like it. There's a number I gave you that I didn't have to give you. What is the sample? I'm actually kind of nicer there than I thought it was. What's the sample? Yeah, 183 gross month students, right? You can even just say 183 students as long as your population is a little more specific, because you pick your sample from your population. So my sample is 183 students. What's my population? Who did I pick them from? All students at Grossmont who park. I love it. Yes, ma'am.
So the 14% is there.
14% is an evil thing I do sometimes. It's what you did with your sample. It's not what your sample is. It's not what the population is. Once I got my sample, I can then see that number. So it's not really a part of the question yet. Yeah. So that, I will admit, that was a little evil, but it's a practice test. I could be a little evil in there if I want to. As long as you, now you say, as long as you're not that way on the actual test chat.
You're really nice on test.
We'll find out. You know, like that answer was not sufficient, Jeff. All right. Anything else you want to go over? What have we not gone over yet? I think we haven't talked much about like the formulas for. We did a little bit, right? The sequence formulas, right? I'm going to write those on the test. I told you didn't have to memorize those. What else did we not do today? Skip somebody? Yeah. Yes. So, if you're cool with this, that's the stem and leaf, right? And as I do this, I kind of made them in order at the same time. You guys see what I'm saying? Alright, and I know this gets a little bean counterish, so well. Is everybody, please, again, remember, if somebody near you is saying, yes I am, they might be lying. So is everybody cool with this? So what's up? Who said? Somebody said no. Okay. So when I see my data, the stem is going to be sort of the first part of the numbers. So just to show you an alternate example, if my data looked like this. People playing at home might want to see it. If my data looked like this. 128, 42, blah blah blah. It would look like that. Then my stem would not be 1. That wouldn't do anything for me. I'd have 1 with everything after it. The whole idea of stem and leaf is just kind of break it apart. So what should be? Yeah, my stem should be 1 1, and then I'm gonna have 6 8, right? And then whatever. 1 2, and then I'd have 7 8, and then whatever. 1 3 1 4. Do you guys see that? So you have some flexibility as to what you call the stem, based on what your numbers look like. Well, here it was 30s, 50s, 60s, 70s. All right, so 5, 6, 7, 8, that makes sense. And then after I just put the next digit. Is that cool? This is not a difficult idea. And to be honest, there's a lot more flexibility with it. But again, I'm going to leave that for if you take stats, you get a little deeper into it. But it doesn't get much more crazy than that idea.
So you have to repeat each number, like, since there's 2.
Yes. Otherwise, if I had like 1863s or something, and I just put 1 3, and people look at it and go, well, there's not a lot in that. That's misleading. So you put all the repeats, because then it's like, oh shit, there's a lot there. So if they're grades, and I had 18 people got a 63, and I just put 1, and I'll look at it later, I'm like, oh, they did okay. No, yeah, sure. I should put all the repeats. I like it. Good question, though. Yes? Okay, good. I just want to, if we don't understand A, B kind of builds off of part A, because now I've got everything in order. Part B is easy. Or, easier. Maybe be careful. Yes?
Do we need to mention the key?
Yes, please, because the reason I put the key down is this could mean 5.1. So maybe it's 5.1, 5.3, 6.2. This would actually look exactly the same. I just have to tell people what 5.1 means. It's a key. Just give me 1. I have people that tell me 5.1 means 51, 5.3 means 53. No. Good Lord. Tell me 1, and then I know how to read the whole thing. I like it. How are you guys doing? Let me stop there. This is just a quick visual breakdown of the data. So these are grades on quiz 1. This is actually from my stats class. I randomly picked 30 grades from last semester's stats class. So this is how they looked. So I had a whole bunch in the 70s, a decent number in the 80s, and made me feel better about these guys. You kind of with me? And if you turn it this way, look, if you turn it that way, it looks kind of, it looks like a bell curve almost, right? Do you guys see that? So there's, that stem and leaf does a lot, even though it's just a simple idea. Okay. So now I gave you the classes here, right? I gave you the classes, so now all you got to do is say, well, how many numbers are in this class? How many numbers are from 50 to 59? 3 of them. 3. How many numbers are from 60 to 69? 5. Keep going. That's what frequency means. How frequently do I see a data point in between those two numbers that defines my class?
So what if you did not give us, you use the classes?
Yeah, so like, if there was nothing, if there were no 80s, I would just put a 0. Is that what you're asking?
So,
Oh, what if I don't give you these?
yeah.
Well, then you can come up and slap me. Because I will give you these, and now you're all like, I really want to slap him. Hopefully he'll forget.
Okay, so
I will give you these, especially now that I might get slapped by 30 some odd people if I don't. You guys understand? In statistics, if you take statistics,